What did you do, Tucker? Welcome back to Dirt Driven. We're out here at the off-road races. I wasn't going to make a full-on race video, but I decided to let Tucker take the truck for a spin, and then I was maybe going to drive it the next day depending on how this went, but I think it's safe to say I'm going to be taking the wheel back over because he about rolled it and then drove it right in the wall, and then it caught on fire. But we've got about maybe 12 hours to get this truck back to the shop because we're in Missouri now racing and get this thing fixed. So stay tuned, hit that subscribe button, and let's see if we can make it to the race tomorrow. The truck caught fire. It didn't melt a whole lot. I think we can fix this. The worst of the damage is it took the whole front end and smashed it in against the concrete. You can see we broke the oil filter there and then bent the frame back right here. So I think the rest of the front end's straight. But we spend a lot of money coming to these races, and we're going to try to get this thing back together so we can race tomorrow. I will say though that he was doing really good, and it just sucks this actually happened on the last lap. And I was spotting for him, so I guess I have to take half the credit on this. I don't know. You guys let me know down below if this was the spotter's fault or if this was the driver's fault. Got the race truck loaded in the trailer. It's time to get busy. Got the truck unloaded at the shop. We're gonna pull it in there, see if there's something we can do with it, get it running again, get the front end fixed up. This truck caught on fire, so we have some melted wiring, melted air filter, all kinds of stuff to deal with in the engine bay. And we'll get her washed up first, but we've got to figure out how we can straighten that up, get all the panels off. We also went and got that truck, number one for the power washer, but number two, it's got a big winch on the back. It's actually the same winch that we pulled this car straight with because it was also wrecked. Well, we probably got a long night ahead of us, and we took it all the way up to Kansas City, so we're, I think, a couple hours now from the track. So stay tuned and see what happens. The way the truck caught on fire, why, is because the frame got smashed right here and it pinched the oil filter into the steering gearbox, and then we have an oil sump accumulator, a 2-quart one, and that shot high pressure oil, or at least the engine oil pressure's worth of oil down on the headers.
Alright, I'm gonna leave the sump off because
yeah, leave it off. Yep. We got the oil filter changed out, and now we're just gonna see if it fires up. We have some melted wiring. Let's see if it's good enough to this truck started.
Is it in park?
Yeah, make sure it's in park.
In park.
There we go. How's the oil pressure? You can turn the fans off. Turn those off. She sure did get muddy though. That's a ton of mud. Alright, go ahead and fire it back up. That is a great sign that we have oil pressure and the truck fires up. We're gonna pull it over here and Tucker's gonna get it washed up for us. What happened?
Yeah, well.
So we just refilled. What my dad was doing was refilling the 2 quarts that came out of the sump and then shut her back down. This is part of the dust cleaner, so like the foam pre-filter that goes on the air cleaner, and that thing just burned right up. Some of it's laying on the engine there. Right up here. Getting her washed up. Time to put the front end on the operating table. Got the front end thrown on the workbench. Tucker's still getting the rest of the truck cleaned up. It was super muddy today because it was already wet yesterday during practice and then it rained overnight. But he's gonna get this cleaned up and then we're gonna try to cut the front of the frame off, get that pounded out straight, weld what we can of the frame back on, and then start building that front end slash bumper that holds the whole front of the truck together. We gotta get that mounted so we can start rebuilding it. Here's the front frame damage we're working with. See how it's all folded up? That's a better look there. But I think we can get this truck back on the track. Just got to get this somewhat pulled out, especially since the engine ran. Truck's somewhat washed up. Now the front end, rest of the tear down begins. We cut the hood mount off the top, the hood pin, and then the front bumper bracketry, cut that bracket off, and then this one's completely toast. And I think we're just gonna maybe hack the frame. I think for the rule book you gotta have 3 inches of frame rail in front of the steering box, and so we still have that. We might just cut it and then make our own frame rail. If it's a little crooked, that's fine. We can clean it up. Probably gonna spring back pretty good.
Yep, it just got my blade.
Took the blade with it? So what happens is when these tubes get crushed, there's a lot of, what do they call it, potential energy, and it's got to get released.
That happened right after you weld it, probably.
Still a little bit left there at the bottom. Down there. Need you a new blade.
This was the new one.
That thing's about as crooked as a politician.
Yeah, it was.
Holy cow.
It took the blade right out of it.
So far we got the rivet cut out the top, started slicing down the outside of the frame rail, and then we've got a rivet on the bottom down there pop out. And then we cut this and you can see how far off that tube is. Did you get it knocked out? Nope, not quite. Oh, it's wedged against.
And then I'll miss it. It's not good.
Gatorade down. Hunter was too weak to break that off, huh?
With your little hammer.
Oh, because I need to cut more.
Cut the bottom.
Yeah, I'll probably have to.
Yeah, slice into that other piece.
Yeah, that would.
Tucker couldn't turn his stomach.
That guy right there. So Tucker, I was spotting you, telling you to drive it in the corner a little better. Then what happened?
Well, I gave it a little too much gas and I hit it
I
right.
think you didn't give it enough gas and you hit the right off.
But anyways, hit it right and then went up on 2 wheels and then drove out of it and then landed in the mud and then right into the wall.
At least you saved it from rolling over, but I'm not so sure which repair would have been easier. Fixing the roof on the truck and all the body panels or rebuilding the front end there. You just got the giant pry bar out here. There we go.
Okay. Now let me just cut this off. and then we can.
I will say though that I did not expect to be doing this today. There we go. Hang that on your shelf, Tucker. You know, it does suck that this happened, but at least Tucker, because he was on fire for a little bit, we're not visiting him in the hospital right now. We can fix his truck and get going again. Yeah. So, thanks to the safety crew. So Hunter's got a Daytona, which is Harbor Freight, little porta power, and we're trying to spread this frame back open.
No.
Pump it up, Hunter.
Ooh,
So there's a piston over there, and it's just pushing out that piston.
Yeah, I feel it. They get real hard, but
It's not going to blow in our faces, right?
No, it's Harbor Freight. It's quality.
Quality tools.
Ready to release.
Yeah,
Straight
better
from
before
China.
we blow up.
Yeah, we'll get back for that. So you just saw Hunter and my dad getting the frame horn open back up, and then they also pulled this tube out. The front end of the truck is tilted back just ever so slightly. So we're going to take this piece of metal and this digital angle finder, zero it out, and then we're going to move it down here. So Tucker, put it right in about right here, straight down. And this is going to tell us roughly where this tube needs to land and how straight we got it. So we're still 2 degrees off a little bit. So that's pretty dang close. 2 degrees when the truck just basically got totaled by Tucker here. But yeah, we're getting there. Current game plan, Andrew and Tucker are getting some barbecue. I'm going to put a 3-inch chunk on here, and then we're going to just go ahead and cut this, plate it, and take a tube out because it's getting late in the day. And then this tube is going to have to be replaced, so I'm going to have to cut it up here and clean that up. But we'll have 3 tubes basically intersecting down here at the bottom. So let's get to it. You guys probably been wondering, Zach, why are you just standing around holding the camera? So instead, I started feeling guilty, decided to start making our notch for this tube here. This is going to be our frame extension piece. I'm waiting on them to get done cleaning up the front end, and then I can do my part, which is the fabrication and the welding side of the race truck. And I do all my notches with a grinder. My dad has the hole saw style, but I really don't like that, and I get a pretty nice notch just freehanding. A quick and easy thing I learned to clean tube is put it in a lathe, and then you just take this sandpaper that comes in strips, and then basically turn the lathe on, hold the sandpaper up. You gotta be careful it doesn't suck you in. But this is gonna be a notch, and then it's gonna be a joint, so what do you call that, a node? And I wanna make sure it's clean for the TIG welder. I wish I had a MIG welder because we could throw this thing together real quick, but all I have is TIG. So now why don't you go back there with Hunter and check out the plasma cutter.
There's Larry cutting out the frame channel.
Here's what's for dinner. Got some barbecue from Sneed's. Can't complain about that.
Here's Zach's welding the tube on. Getting ready to cap the frame and continue on the process. Here's the plate Larry plasma and cap the frame rail. We got old Zach here finishing up bottom weld on the stitch plate.
I'm not grinding the welds completely down, just smoothing the edge so that if anyone's ever working on it, they don't cut themselves. But it's not the prettiest because we didn't have all the time in the world to get everything as clean as you need it for a TIG welder. And this thing literally was on the track a handful of hours ago. So I got our lower frame fix on there. Hunter and Larry are working on the replacement tube for right here, and then we're working on putting a new hood pin in it. So I've got to line the little tube up with that hole. Well, it's now a little after 11 o'clock, and we've got the front frame fixed and basically the front of the engine cage rebuilt, all the tabs mounted, the oil filter remounted. What else? We just put the hood pin on. We've got the bumper mounts on. So now we've got to get busy on this front grill support slash bumper. This truck's kind of built with multiple pieces that do multiple jobs, so it's hard to give everything a name. But we also found that we've got a broken tail housing on the transmission, so once we fix all this stuff, we've got to fix the transmission. And then we took the truck almost all the way to Kansas City, and so we're now 2 hours from the track, and we got a driver's meeting in 9 hours, so the clock's ticking. Well, we just hit 2 o'clock in the morning. We got the driver's meeting now in 6 hours, and we got a 2-hour drive, and then we got to unload the truck because we're going to try to get a shakedown lap. And but before we do all that, we've got to put the truck on the lift back there and pull the tail housing off the transmission and fix that. So I'm pretty dang tired. Everyone else is really tired. We've been working hard. But we got this front end somewhat together. It's a little bit of a band-aid, but it's going to get us on the track. We actually looked it up, and we start on the pole. So first position out on the track. I'll be leading the group out tomorrow, and that's going to be pretty crazy after we pulled an all-nighter getting this truck ready. If anyone's curious what I weld with, it is a Miller Syncrowave 210 TIG welder.
There you go.
Works pretty dang good. Just not that good at 2 in the morning, so don't judge my welds. Right there's the ear broken off the tail housing of the transmission. So, gotta get this thing replaced. We're creeping up on 3 a.m. right now. Sure did some damage to this transmission.
Well, I was going to be a race truck driver, but now I got to be a janitor pushing the broom.
Don't set that broom down. You missed a spot right here.
Yeah. Be good.
Time to go. It's lunch break.
Yeah.
Andrew's got the used part out of our parts storage area for transmissions for this race truck. We spent about 3 years rebuilding it every weekend until we ended up going with a new builder. So we've got plenty of parts. Andrew's pumping the transmission fluid back into it. And then my dad made this custom extra long, yes, 346 in the morning. But he made this custom hood pin because the truck is still smashed upwards on this side. Time to fire this truck up, get it in the trailer, and make the 2-hour drive back to Wheatland. Don't get my butt cracked. Just parked the Mustang, made it back. I told Andrew, I'm like, I cannot follow you behind the trailer. I am literally gonna fall asleep. So I went ahead of them. And here they are with the race truck. It's crazy. It is literally the sun coming back up, and we have not gone to bed. We just went out and did a shakedown lap. So Champ Off-Road lets you, right after the driver's meeting and before the races get started, if you had a major repair on your vehicle, such as driving it straight into the concrete barrier or catching on fire or doing transmission work, you can head out on the track and you get one lap just to shake the truck down. So I got to do that, and that was my first time out on track. The track's really fun, flows really well, and works great for these trucks, and the truck did really good out there. So excited for the race. We're starting on the pole, so #1 position, and we got to try to hold on to that. And we got some hard chargers here behind us. So let's see how the racing goes and if this truck stays together.
You gotta come see it in person. The pits are, of course, open. You can walk right down there, shake hands with your favorite drivers, your CJ Greaves, your Dylan Parsons. You can go right up to them and come and watch some great racing. Well, Shane, we're going back truck racing here in AmSoil Championship Off-Road. We're at Lucas Oil Speedway. Once again, I'm Brent, he's Shane. We have Nolan Castellian down trackside, and it's been wonderful getting to be here in Missouri, Shane. Yeah, and like I said, the weather finally cooperating today has made some really competitive racing. I expect this race to be no different. Super stock truck next up coming at you. We got a Missouri boy on the front row, Zach Gudenkopf. Yesterday, his brother Tucker drove the truck, damaged it a little bit. Zach wanted to pull the plug on the weekend, and Dad said, hey, the shop's like 70 miles from here. Let's tow it home. We'll get it fixed overnight. They're back in time. He is in the field, starts on the front row alongside Jeff Bloom Jr. Then it's Brad Barglin, Colt Wurzba, Ronald Cosiza, Corey Holcher, Nick Bing, Braden Beauchamp, Matt Pyburn. Yesterday's winner, Scott Belanger, will start 10th, and Charles Buffum starts in the 11th spot. Boy, we'll see if Belanger can work his way up through the field after taking the win in round 1. That's a bummer deal. You have to start in the back. But hey, I remember years back, that's what happened. And we like to see the drivers come through the field, as this is a strong, strong field. Yeah, this super stock truck field presented by PureTech is tough, man. I mean, every top to bottom, these are some really tough racers, veteran drivers, ton of speed. You got Pyburn out there with a brand new truck. He was quick and fast yesterday before having some issues and falling out of the podium contention. Obviously, Belanger, big win yesterday. Bing is a former class champion. Beauchamp has been close to a championship a couple different years now. Corey Holcher, the defending champ.
You could go on forever. This class is that
I think
deep.
I just about named everybody that's out there just now.
You did. Well, here we go, Shane. The green flag flies. A big jump for Zach Gudenkopf.
Oh, and they're already three wide making contact. Wurzba just about paid the price for that one, as Gudenkopf is going to lead the field down into turn 1 here in his home state.
In this first lap, you know, you're just trying to pick that track. You watched it from the prior races, but now you get a chance to feel it. Like CJ was saying, you really have to be precise.
Well, Wurzba gave a little shove there to Gudenkopf, almost drifted out and caught Barglin in that contact. Here comes Braden Beauchamp now alongside Wurzba.
Yeah, we were talking about people coming up to the booth telling us about the track and asking what tire groove they should do. Well, Braden Beauchamp, he came up here and was like, man, you know, we don't know what it's going to do. They lay a little water, it can change it up huge, and look at this.
Almost pushed it 3 wide. Beauchamp would have been in the middle, and then he had second thoughts there, so Wurzba takes over the lead as Gudenkopf slows a little bit down on the inside.
Well, Beauchamp's going for the lead early, Shane. Remember, he had multiple wins in 2024. The kid is very good at what he does. Already finds himself out in the lead.
Took second yesterday in round 1. Wurzba hot on his heels, though, as they go through the infield. Look at all the dust these trucks are churning up. Wildly different track than what they saw yesterday. Beauchamp, a little bit of a push. Seems like the Fords, even the A-arm Fords, have a little bit of a push through these corners. The A-arm Chevys, not so much. They're able to rotate a little quicker.
Yeah, the different swap in the side.
Something together, he's running out of corners, running out of opportunities.
Yeah, you might see Braden just trying to flat foot this rhythm section.
It's really tough to pass in these upcoming 3 corners.
Little squirrely Bing got. It's just so hard in this infield section. If you baby that bottom, you should be all right unless some guy moves you out of the way.
Tight switchback section, really tough to pass here. Beauchamp just not quite within striking distance. Bing is going to lead the way through the tunnel and into the Polaris final turn here on the final lap.
Yeah, it's Nick Bing's day here in round 2, Shane. That 833, the Maxxis tires Ford, gonna get it done here.
What a drive for Bing. Great weekend, 3rd yesterday, 1st today. A couple of 2nd place finishes for Braden Beauchamp. But we're gonna go back and let's take a look at Nick Bing just fully flat-footed over that huge tabletop jump.
Just look at that, making that pass work in the air.
Man,
look at
Cosiza had to be looking out his driver's side window, looking up at the bottom of Bing's truck. There you see just a tiny little shove, but
he doored him
a little bit, but that's fair play. That's super stock truck, man. If you don't like that, you don't like super stock truck. That's all there is to it. Nick Bing, hard fought, hard earned victory.
Well, guys, we just finished up the race. Just got done checking the truck over, looking at the repairs we made, and our Band-Aids that you saw from last night, they all held together. I was able to get a finish out of the truck. I need some more laps here. We started first. I was able to hold on for about half a lap and then just slowly started getting picked off. And we need to work on our truck setup, need to get some more laps under our belt, and then we'll come back swinging next year. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. And I'm only running on 1 hour of sleep, and I need to get well rested up because we're going to be taking the Open Station 8300 and hopefully be putting some corn in the ground in just a few short days.
Good to see the 891 back in the field as well, usually driven by Zach Gudenkoff. His brother Tucker is actually driving today. They're from just about 70 miles from here, Blairstown, Missouri. I remember him a couple of years ago saying, man, I'd love for Champ to come to Wheatland so I can race at my hometown track, you know.
Well, we're here, buddy.
Here we are. You're welcome, Zach.
Sit back. It's going to get good here in the second half. A super stock truck. Don't count out Corey Holzer either.
Yeah, this pack of dogs behind Pyburn is going to make it really tough on him to lead the second half like he did in the first half.
Boy, Belanger got a good start on Beauchamp. He's going to take over that second